I sat down at my desk this morning, hot coffee in hand, genuinely ready for my weekly money date. It's funny, but I actually look forward to this ritual now. I love the process of opening the spreadsheet, logging the specific payment, and watching that total debt number tick down, even if it's just by a little bit. It's usually my little dopamine hit for the week, proof that I'm moving forward. But today, I typed in the numbers, hit enter, and absolutely nothing happened. The total debt cell stayed exactly the same. It stared back at me, totally unchanged, mocking me in bold font. Honestly, my stomach dropped. It felt like I just wasted an entire week of hard work and sacrifice. This is my real-time journey, not expert advice. Here's exactly what happened. You know that frustrating feeling when you're running on a treadmill? You're sweating, you're out of breath, your legs are burning with effort, but you look up and realize you haven't actually gone anywhere physically. That is exactly what my financial life feels like right now. I'm putting in the effort, but the scenery isn't changing. I'm looking at the screen right now, checking the history. Last week, my total debt was sitting at $38,850. This week, it is still $38,850, zero progress. My first instinct was pure panic. The old me, the one who got into this mess, would have scrambled immediately. I would have frantically looked at my checking account, found an extra $50 or $100 somewhere, and just thrown it at the credit card balance immediately just so I could see that number go down by something. I was desperate for the visual win. I wanted to feel like I was winning at finance even if the math didn't make sense. It's weird how much shame is attached to just standing still. In my head, if the debt isn't going down every single week, I'm failing. I felt this sudden urge to hide it, to maybe skip making a video or logging this week entirely, because who wants to watch a guy not pay off debt? It feels boring, it feels stagnant, it feels like I'm losing momentum. But I stopped myself from panic paying. I took a deep breath and looked at the other tab on my spreadsheet, the one I usually ignore because it's always empty and sad. This flat line wasn't an accident. I didn't forget to pay the bill. I didn't blow the money on takeout, happy hour, or a new gadget. I made a specific choice this week that feels completely counterintuitive. And honestly, it feels wrong in my gut. But I think it might be the most important strategic move I've made since I started this channel. So let's get into the actual numbers because that's why we're here.
So we see that 1 plus
I opened up the tab labeled Savings, which, let's be real, is usually a ghost town in my spreadsheet. Usually every single spare dollar I find, whether it's $10 from skipping lunch or $200 from a side hustle gig, goes straight to the credit card. I've been obsessed with attacking that principal balance, but this week I had $300 available. This was my hard-earned debt snowball money. Normally, I would highlight the credit card row, type in a payment for $300, and watch the balance drop to $38,850. I visualized doing it. I hovered the mouse over the button. I almost clicked Submit. But instead, I logged into my banking app and transferred that exact $300 into a separate savings account I've nicknamed the Sleepwell Fund. Here is the math of why I did this and why it feels so physically uncomfortable. By not paying that $300 to the credit card, I am technically keeping my debt higher. That means I am going to get hit with interest on that $300 next month. My credit card interest rate is something brutal, like 24%. So, by keeping this cash, I am literally paying the bank for the privilege of having my own money in a savings account. Mathematically, it feels like I'm losing. It feels like a bad deal. But here's the other side of the equation, the side that doesn't show up on a simple calculator. I looked back at my transaction history for the last 6 months. It's a pattern I didn't want to admit to myself, but it's undeniable. 3 months ago, I aggressively paid off $500. It felt great in the moment. 2 weeks later, my car needed a new battery and an alternator. It was $180. I had $0 in my checking account because I had sent everything to the debt. So what did I do? I had no choice. I swiped the credit card. 2 months ago, I paid off $400. Then I had to go to the dentist for a chipped tooth. It was $250. Again, $0 in the bank. Swipe the card. I realized I've been trapped in this cycle of doom. I'm aggressively paying off debt, but because I have zero cash buffer, the moment life happens, and let's be honest, life always happens, I have to reborrow the money I just paid off. I'm basically digging a hole, filling it halfway back up, and then digging it out again the next week. I'm exhausted. And looking at the graph, my net progress has been agonizingly slow because of this 2 steps forward, 1 step back dance. So the $300 transfer this week is me trying to build a floor. My goal is to get this emergency fund to $1,000. That is my new target before I go back to aggressively attacking the debt. It feels incredibly weird to see $300 sitting in a savings account while I owe $38,850 to the bank. It feels wrong. My brain is screaming, throw that money at the fire. But I have to trust that this is actually progress. It's invisible progress. If I look at my net worth calculation, which is just assets minus liabilities, I actually did get better by $300 this week. My debt stayed flat, $38,850, but my assets went up $300. So I am $300 wealthier, or well, less poor, than I was last week. It just doesn't look like the progress I'm used to celebrating. I'm building a shield instead of a sword right now, and I'm realizing that maybe you can't win a long fight without a shield. The biggest lesson I'm taking away from this week is something I think I've ignored for years. Stability has to come before speed. For so long, I thought the only metric that mattered was how fast I could make that debt number hit 0. I was trying to sprint a marathon, but I was doing it without tying my shoes first. Every time I tripped, every time a bill popped up, I fell flat on my face and had to start over from scratch. This $300 in the bank is my way of finally tying my shoes. I'm realizing that this flatline week isn't a failure, it's a necessary renovation. I am building a floor beneath my feet. If I can get this emergency fund up to $1,000, that's a $1,000 barrier between me and using my credit card ever again. That means the next time my car breaks down or I have a medical copay, I don't have to go backward. I can just stay put. And honestly, staying put is a heck of a lot better than sliding back down the hill. So, my 1% step this week wasn't about attacking the enemy. It was about fortifying the castle. It's hard to be patient. I want the debt gone now. I hate seeing that interest charge hit. But I know that if I don't break this cycle of reborrowing, I'll be doing this forever. I'm choosing to be secure rather than fast. Next week, the plan is to add another 1% to that savings bucket. My debt number might be boring again next week. It might be flat again. But my stress level, that's going down. And that counts for something. My 1% mission for tomorrow is just to move $1 from checking to savings. That's it. Just $1. What's your 1% step? Will you cancel one $5 subscription? Let's share our small wins in the comments below.